The sky bled silver fire. On the dying world of Verith, the last fortress of the Ashari Empire burned under the hammer of human orbital bombardment. Vast towers of crystalline spires collapsed like shattered glass, raining molten shards into the blackened seas below. From the citadel's highest balcony, Queen Sothera, last of the Ashari, watched her empire die. Her iridescent armor flickered with pulses of biolight, dimming in rhythm with her breaking heart. Behind her, the nursery chamber, once full of the gentle hum of life, was silent. In her arms lay her child, Lethany, barely a year old in human measure. Tiny translucent wings folded against a fragile body now still. The child's breath had stopped hours ago when the bombardment began. Sothera's second heart, her empathic core, ached with an agony beyond comprehension. Every cell in her body screamed with loss. Around her, her guards lay dead, vaporized in the human assault. She whispered to the lifeless infant, her voice a trembling melody in the alien tongue. "Sleep, my little one. The stars will remember your name when none of us remain." A rumble shook the citadel. The final wave was coming. She turned her gaze to the heavens and saw the vast silhouette of the Terran flagship, Aegis, descending from orbit. Humans, the species she had once called allies. The species who had betrayed her people for the promise of dominion. Her tear ducts, bioluminescent and rare among her kind, glowed a deep blue as she whispered one final vow. "If the stars have mercy, they will make me forget this pain. If they do not, I will return it upon the ones who gave it." The fortress exploded in white fire. And for a century, the galaxy believed Queen Sothera was dead. Part 1. A Human Among Ghosts. 107 years later, aboard the deep space research vessel Magellan, orbiting the ruins of Verith. "Recording day 47, said Dr. Elias Vance, exoanthropologist. His voice was calm, though his eyes betrayed exhaustion. "The Ishari ruins are still saturated with residual quantum radiation. We've located a subterranean vault untouched by scavengers. Energy readings suggest life support functions." He paused, looking through his visor into the darkness of the alien tunnels. The air was cold enough to crystallize breath. "Command thinks it's automated defense tech," he continued. "But if my readings are correct, something down there has been alive since the war." His companion, Lieutenant Kira Dal, adjusted her plasma rifle uneasily. "Alive for 100 years. Come on, Vance. The Ishari are fossils. We glassed this rock." Elias frowned. "You mean your people glassed it?" She said nothing. They descended the spiral corridor into the alien tomb, walls pulsing faintly with residual light. Symbols glimmered across the black crystal, language Elias had studied all his life but never seen so vividly. At the chamber's center lay a sarcophagus woven of living metal, shaped like flowing wings. A faint heartbeat pulsed from within. Elias stepped closer, awe flooding his face. "This is impossible." The sarcophagus opened. Mist flooded the chamber, bioluminescent and cold. A silhouette rose, tall, slender, wings unfurling like blades of light. Her eyes burned with deep cerulean fire. Queen Sothera had awakened. Part 2, Resurrection. Kira fired before she could think. The plasma shot struck the queen's chest and dissipated harmlessly, absorbed by the creature's energy field. Sothera turned her gaze upon her attackers, her expression both sorrowful and furious. "Humans," she said. Her voice echoed in their skulls more than their ears. "You return to the graves you made." Elias froze, trembling. You can speak galactic common." Your tongue was once the song of allies, she replied. Now it carries only the scent of death. Sothera looked past them, to the ruins, to the stars beyond the tunnel ceiling. She remembered the screams of her people, the fire raining from orbit. She felt again the cold weight of her dead child in her arms. And yet, she felt something else. The man before her, Elias, radiated sorrow, not malice. His aura flickered like an ember in the dark. "Why have you come, human?" she demanded. Elias swallowed hard. "To learn. To understand what we destroyed." Something shifted in her expression. For the first time in a century, the queen hesitated. Part 3: The Child in Stasis. Elias and Kira were restrained by the queen's energy tendrils, held in suspended gravity. Yet instead of killing them, she carried them deeper into the vault. There, in a crystal cradle, lay a small figure, preserved in stasis. The alien child, perfect, untouched, and still. Sothera approached it slowly. Her trembling hand reached for the surface, tracing the translucent glass that separated her from her child's body. "Lethany," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Still asleep. A century has passed, and still you do not wake." Elias understood. "You preserved them." Stasis kept the body intact. "Hoping the stars would return what they took," she said bitterly. "But time is a thief even gods cannot bribe." Kira, still trapped, muttered, "Why show us this? You want sympathy." The queen turned, eyes glinting with rage. "Sympathy? I want truth. I want to know why the children of Earth broke their oath. Why your admirals ordered the fire that scorched my skies." Elias stepped forward, his restraints loosening. "Because fear is stronger than reason. We were told the Ashari were building weapons that could rewrite DNA, enslave humanity." Sothera's wings flared, scattering shards of light. "Lies. Our biocraft was meant to heal. Your generals turned it into justification for genocide." Silence hung heavy. Even Kira had no words. Part 4. The empath bond. Over the following days, Elias remained in the vault as Sothera allowed him to study her world. Every surface hummed with memories, biological architecture that recorded emotions rather than data. He began to sense what the Ashari had been, a civilization of empathy, where communication was emotion and thought itself was art. At night, Sothera would sit beside the stasis cradle and speak softly in her native tongue. Her bioluminescent tears traced lines across her cheeks. Elias, compelled by compassion, often found himself sitting near her. One night he spoke. "Your people felt what others felt, didn't they? That's why the war destroyed you more than the bombs." "Yes," she said quietly. "We felt the hatred that fell from your ships. It killed us long before your weapons did." She turned her gaze on him. "But you are different. You feel the echoes of others. You carry guilt that is not yours." Elias hesitated. "My mother served on the Aegis. She was part of the bombardment. She died believing she ended a war, not a world." Sothera reached out and touched his face, lightly, reverently. In that instant their minds touched. Elias saw her memories. The fall of Verith, her child's final breath, her desperate scream into a collapsing sky. He collapsed to his knees, sobbing. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." For the first time the queen did not pull away. "Then perhaps," she whispered, "there is hope yet for your kind." Part 5. The Awakening. But the universe does not forgive so easily. On the 43rd day, Human Command detected Magellan's missing signal and dispatched a recovery fleet. When orbital sensors picked up Ishari bioenergy readings, panic ignited across human space. To them, the alien queen's revival was not a miracle. It was a threat. As ships descended toward Verith, Elias begged Sothera to flee with him. "They'll kill you," he pleaded. "They'll finish what they started." The queen stood tall, wings unfolding in defiance. "I have fled long enough. Let them come." Kira, now freed from her earlier fear, stepped forward. "If you fight, they'll burn this planet again. But if you show them what you are, what you feel, maybe they'll see." Sothera studied the soldier. The same species that had slain her child now offered her mercy. Felt impossible. But deep within her second heart, something fragile flickered. "To face one's pain is the greatest courage," she murmured. "Perhaps humans must learn this too." Part 6. The Battle of Verith. The first human cruiser entered the atmosphere, its cannons charged. Sothera stood atop the crystalline ruins, radiant against the dark horizon. Elias stood beside her in his tattered suit, a lone human beside an alien queen. The fleet opened fire. Light streaked across the sky. Sothera raised her hands, summoning the living metal of the planet itself. Towers reformed, weaving into a shield of glowing tendrils that absorbed the bombardment. The ground trembled under the psychic energy of her rage. "You come again with fire," she thundered, her voice echoing across the minds of every soldier in orbit. "Did you learn nothing from the ashes of my people?" The command crews screamed as visions flooded their consciousness. Memories of the Ashari dying, of children burning, of a mother's grief that spanned a century. Some wept. Others tore off their neural links, overwhelmed by empathy. The bombardment ceased. Elias, weakened by the psychic storm, collapsed beside her. They felt it. "You showed them." Sothera's light dimmed. "I did not wish to. But pain must be seen before it can be healed." Yet among the human ships, one vessel, the Reclaimer, captained by Admiral Juno Vance, broke formation. Her voice crackled over the comms. "This is Admiral Vance. Identify yourself, human on the surface." Elias looked up in shock. "Mother." Sothera turned sharply. "Your mother lives." He nodded. "I thought she died during the war." "She's still serving." Admiral Vance's face appeared on the holographic relay, aged, hardened. "Elias, what have you done?" He took a breath. "I found the truth." Part 7. The child's return. While humans debated above, Sothera turned back to the stasis cradle. The power sustaining her child was fading. The planet's core energy was nearly gone. She looked at Elias. "I must try once more. Even if it consumes me." He shook his head. "No. You'll die." "I already did," she said softly. "When my child did." She placed her hand upon the cradle. Light poured from her body into the crystal, flooding it with brilliant energy. Her wings disintegrated into particles, flowing into the stasis field. The child's chest rose once, then again. Tiny eyes flickered open, glowing the same shade of blue as her mother's. Sothera smiled through tears. "Lethany." But her form began to fade, her essence unraveling into light. She turned to Elias, who was kneeling beside her. "Protect her," she said. "Let her see a world where no mother must burn for her child." He grasped her hand as it turned to starlight. "I swear it." And then the alien queen was gone. Only the child remained, alive, fragile and breathing. Part 8. The human promise. Admiral Vance landed shortly after, her soldiers wary, weapons drawn. But when they found Elias holding the small, luminous child, even the hardest among them faltered. "What is that?" the Admiral whispered. "My responsibility," Elias said. "Her name is Lethany." She's all that's left of the Ishari. The Admiral's gaze softened. Decades of guilt flickered behind her eyes. God forgive us. Elias stood, cradling the infant. Maybe he already has. Maybe she will. Sothara's energy, what remained of her, had merged with the planet. The once dead world now shimmered faintly, life stirring beneath the surface. Humanity, for the first time in a century, faced the living legacy of what they'd destroyed. Epilogue. The return years later, aboard the orbital colony Haven's Reach, a young girl played near the observation deck. Her skin shimmered faintly with silver light. Her eyes glowed like twin stars. Elias watched her laugh, clutching a small carved stone in her hands, the last relic of her mother's world. "Papa," she said softly, looking up at him, "will Mama ever come back from the stars?" He smiled sadly. "She never left Lethany. She's in the light that keeps us warm." As the child pressed her hand against the glass, the stars beyond flickered, one brighter than the rest, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. And somewhere, in the folds of the cosmos, the essence of Queen Sothara watched over them. A mother, queen, a bridge between two species once divided by war. And though her tears had once fallen for a dead child, now, across the endless dark, the alien queen wept for hope.